All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes on social media. My name is Judson Powell. This is an emergency. This is a special edition because this is an emergency. It really is. And see, the whole time that Byron Allen, the media mogul, the African-American, African-descendant media mogul, has been suing Comcast and Charter Communications. And the whole time, I thought that it was just over licensing and, you know, the fact that there's no black people that they license in order to be able to use their networks and to be able to show African-American networks over Comcast and also Charter. So, you know, so we understand that, you know, it comes down to they want to be able to control the media and they want to be able to control the narrative that's out there. Okay, but these multi-billion-dollar lawsuits are more than just what we think on the surface. It's not about licensing. Okay, he won the 2 lawsuits in the Ninth Circuit. All right. However, when Comcast came back to appeal, okay, they went and they took it to the Supreme Court. But here's the difference. What the Comcast suit will do, it will repeal. It will repeal, all right, the Civil Rights Act of 1866. As you know, slavery ended in 1865. It was supposed to be the whole 40 acres and a mule. That was supposed to be our reparations, or you know, our reciprocity at the time. All right, we know that we never got the 40 acres and a mule, right, Spike Lee? We never got that, did we? All right, but this Civil Rights Act of 1866, what it was supposed to do, it was supposed to guarantee fair contracting, fair trading. And we were supposed to be entitled to a fair amount of government and private sector contracts. And basically it's one of those things that has never been enforced. All right, we nowhere near have an equal stake when it comes down, especially in government contracts. All of these, just like, you know, I tell people all the time, just like when they came up with all these Enrons and all of this stuff, basically the whole thing came down to what? It came down to the fact of, you know, we take out defense contracts, the rich Republicans, their friends get all the contracts, they channel all the money back through that, and, you know, nobody's the wiser. So these contracts are huge. All right, but this is it. But this is dealing with a private sector contract for licensing of television programming, all right, and broadcasting. But here's the thing. If they repeal this law, that means that basically it's taking away the first phase of our civil rights. It's taking our civil rights. And it's not, and the other thing is, it's not just for Africans and descendants of Africans or descendants of slavery. What it really is about is about being able to take your rights away, period. And I'm talking about all people's rights, because you know what happens as soon as something is made into a law, then I'm going to use that. If I'm a good lawyer, what do? I use it as a precedent in order to bring other cases where I can deny people their rights and their opportunities as being, you know, citizens. And even that, you know, Dred Scott's still up in the air. We don't know. We're really not even, you know, according to them, they don't really think we're citizens. And then you should go online and look at the interview, the Breakfast Club interview, you know, and Hampton Love. Shout out to DJ Envy for having them on the Breakfast Club. All right. So the Hampton University gauntlet keeps rolling. Anyway, but check out Byron Allen on the Breakfast Club and make sure that you do this. Now, what can we do? What do we need to do? What we need to do? Hey, what we need to do? Call those members. There was a certain amount of members. I think he said it was like 40-some members of the Congressional Black Caucus that did not sign this this thing that they sent, or basically they sent a brief. There's a brief that they send, and basically it gives an opinion about what the court should do. But when it went up there, from what I understand, only Kamala Harris and Cory Booker signed this amicus brief. Okay, so we need to very actively, you need to start calling if you have a black congressional black caucus member as one of your representatives. In fact, you need to call all of your representatives, because this is paramount to, they just want to take all your rights away. And if they do this, then we will have as a people, we will have no economic footing, because they can cite the law and say, hey, it's the law. Just like, and I tell people all the time, just because something is a law doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's moral, doesn't mean it's really legal, anything like that. Once again, how do I cite that? Slavery was legal, but was it moral? Was it just? Anything? And the other thing is, I like what Byron Allen said. He said, look, we not coming up, they're not going into the Supreme Court asking for nothing. Because it's what's well deserved. This is the stuff. Look, this is the times when you got to stand up. This is it. Because if this law gets repealed, if the court, and remember, the court is conservative, Republican controlled. All right. So you got to get there, and whoever's in D.C. that day is November the 13th, November the 13th, November the 13th. Whoever is in D.C. that day, you need to go and protest outside of the Supreme Court, whatever you doing, because if they repealed the Civil Rights Act of 1866, and then basically you can say they can go and they can repeal, all the other facets of the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Act, whatever. They don't have to, they're not going to ever honor it ever again. So, and that's why I keep telling people, I just don't agree with, I don't agree with Boyce Watkins at all on this issue. I do not agree with him, not one iota, because he talks about, it doesn't do any good to vote and all this kind of stuff. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, because you can't change a system outside of a system. You have to change a system from within a system. You can't do it from the outside, just saying, apathy. And I kept saying this when Trump was running. I kept saying it, and people were like, well, I'm not going to vote for Hillary and the lesser two evils and all that kind of stuff. And you see what happened. That's what I'm trying to say. Apathy is not a strategy. Being apathetic about anything, that's not a strategy. There's no action. There's no work. That I follow this Kemetic spirituality, and one of the universal laws is what? The law of work. All right. The law of action, the law of motion. If you're not doing anything, that ain't going to change a thing. You can't change nothing through inaction. You cannot. It's not going to happen. So y'all need to get on the phone. In fact, I'm going to get on the phone a little bit later on and call and make a few calls. But start calling these congressmen and these senators and get people this amicus brief that was filed. Get them to sign that brief, so that when the justices of the Supreme Court see that amicus brief, they will know that the people support it. Because they are, for all intents and purposes, and what they're supposed to do, let me get this straight as far as what they're supposed to do. What they're supposed to do is that they are supposed to interpret the law so that it benefits the people, all right, or that it protects a certain group of people, all right. So now they should, and we all know what that means. They should do the right thing, because the disadvantaged and the minority that is trying to be protected is African and African American descendants who were freed from slavery and never were given reparations. That was supposed to be our reparations, and even that has never been given to us, because states' rights and states' laws, all kind of stuff has been going on. Jim Crow is against that. All of these things that, all of these systemic racism points that I try to point out, welfare, child support, redlining, gerrymandering, voter suppression, voter tampering. All of these things go against that thing, and we are not equal in government contracts. You know, every now you can count the number of people, and I think even Byron Allen mentioned this. You can count the number of African American people that have money, and most of them have money either through singing and dancing or basketball or football. And everybody, you know, baseball. Everybody else, you can count, literally on one hand, you can count the number of African Americans, descendants of slaves, right, that have billions of dollars. And pretty much there are none that aren't either in the entertainment business or the sports business. That's it. We don't own anything. We don't have anything. Look on the New York Stock Exchange. There is a handful, literally, and most of the companies that are on the New York Stock Exchange or on the NASDAQ, guess what? Those African American owned companies or African owned majority companies or whatever, they're still in the entertainment industry. Most of them, you know, shout out to Kathy Hughes, you know. But it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And after, you know, we don't own anything. And even the stuff that we own, just like they sold off, you know, Johnson Publishing. We don't even, they had the archives, all of those pictures and everything, great pictures and everything else. Our historic stuff all went to a white company, to a white corporation. BET, Bob Johnson don't own BET. Okay. Viacom owns BET. You know, y'all, we got to wake up, because that's where we getting killed. We getting killed economically, and then we keep on spending our money like idiots. I ain't watched look, let me tell you something. I know that y'all love football, but I have not watched a football game, not 1 second. I ain't eating no Papa John's pizza. I ain't doing, and you know, y'all ain't gotta be down. But if y'all gonna keep on foolishly giving your money to somebody that's kicking you in your butt, then you deserve whatever you get. You really do. You deserve whatever the hell you get. Because stop being stupid. They know that you're the consumer. That's all they want. They want you to be the consumer. Oh, and then they give a couple of coon Negroes, you know, a position. You know, that's why y'all follow Kanye around. That's why y'all follow Jay-Z around. That's why y'all follow Tyler Perry around. Do y'all realize they don't own that stuff? Even though they own Tyler Perry Studios. But guess what? With no licensing agreements with anybody with no platform to put it on, guess what? You ain't got nothing. I can make every movie in the world. I can make every TV show in the world. But without a platform to deliver it on, and without the ability to be able to green light something and get enough money and back it with whatever I want, it doesn't matter. Wake up. Gee, wake up. But this right here, every black person in America should be paying attention to what's going on in the Supreme Court with Byron Allen on November the 13th. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to take away your civil rights. Period. And it don't make it don't have nothing to do, you know, and at first I'm going to say I wasn't well versed on it either until I saw the interview, and I was like, what? You know, because the civil rights case is what the Supreme Court case is really about. We need to put it out there. Let everybody know. Talk about this. Stop, you know, we can't just be sitting up there, because I just thought it was about licensing. And I said, well, if he wins and he's able to license his product and sell it to a mass market or sell it into a worldwide market, you know, I'm all for that. And I think the Supreme Court should have. But this is a whole different ballgame. You talking about trying to rescind people's rights. The people's rights. Think about it. Anyway, I cannot emphasize enough. November 13th, Byron Allen, support this brother, love on this brother, show this brother all the love that you can show him. Call up these Congress people, call up the senators, call up everybody. All right, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the love button, hit the love Byron Allen button, hit the love Byron Allen button right now. Hit the button, y'all, because we got to do this.